And I just want to remind you guys that CEO has expanded just beyond a conference. In 1985, the first Collegiate Entrepreneurs of Illinois conference was started with nearly 400 students and 40 universities. 15 years later, today, it continues its mission to inform, support, and inspire college students to be entrepreneurial and seek opportunities through enterprise creation. It boasts over 245 universities, and we have close to 1,300 students and over 130 schools here today. Give yourselves a hand for that. It's phenomenal. Actually, I think it's closer to 1,400 students. And do me a quick favor, just throughout the rest of the event, just make sure you guys keep an eye on your cell phone, make sure it's turned off. But we do encourage you, however, to tweet about the speakers, the presentations, about any people that you meet, any opportunities that you recognize. So that's going to be at hashtag CEONAT2012. Once again, hashtag CEONAT2012. All right. At this time, I'd like to welcome back up to the stage Dr. Jerry Hughes. Let's give him a hand, please.
You know, we wouldn't be sitting here this morning if it weren't for the Coleman Foundation and the John Hughes Foundation. And we're very blessed today to have several of the board members here as well. Would the following people please stand? Michael Hennessy, John Hughes, Jim Jones, Trevor Davies, Dan Wassenberg, and also the wonderful staff people, Rosa and Clark and John Hennessy at the Coleman Foundation and the John Hughes Foundation. Would you please stand and be recognized? And I'd like to call Michael Hennessy, the president of the Coleman Foundation, to the podium. Mike started out as a high school educator, became an executive at Fannie Mae Candies, and for many years now has been the leader and the person who's made a huge amount of difference nationally in entrepreneurship education with the Coleman Foundation. Let's hear it from Mike Hennessy. Mike.
I got to bring that down, Jack. Some of us don't have the elevation. Good morning. 1,400 participants, great numbers. Let me ask, I always like to try and ask a few questions when I get the chance to talk. How many of you are here for the very first time? Well, how do first timers? How many of you are non-business majors? Okay. We've already asked about how many are already actively running a business. Will the professors who are here with their students please stand up? All right, stay standing, stay standing. Let's hear some numbers. How many of you, this is your first conference? How many of you, this is their fifth conference? I know there's people in the room that have been here more than 10 times. Who are you? Jerry Gustafson, how many times have you been here? Who else? There have been people here that have been here from the very beginning. These are the people that are helping make, Fred Kiesner waving back there. These are the people that help provide support. Without the professors, without the chapters, without Katie and Mike's hard work, without the vision that Jerry and John had from the beginning, we wouldn't be here today. So I'm going to start with that and say thank you for all of your hard work. So Jack invited us to try to take stock in some things, and anniversaries cause us to do that. We look back over what's been going on with this conference and the 30 years that the foundation has been involved in entrepreneurship, and certainly things have changed markedly. I can remember the time that people would say, you know what, well, you can fool around with this silly business ownership until your real job comes along. And as parents, we're hoping that's what's going to happen. But there's no going back. There's nothing to go back to, and we really don't think that you want to go back to that anyway. The world is a very, very different place, and it's being changed by the hour by people like you. So when we first started doing grants in entrepreneurship, it really was very much about awareness, and we decided that it was going to start with college CEO chapters and college professors, and we began spreading money around very, very broadly in the 80s, really playing kind of a Johnny Appleseed role of just investing in people and investing in startup campus programs, getting more and more people to be talking about entrepreneurship and thinking about what it means to have an entrepreneurship program on campus. We went from there to youth programs, disadvantaged high school youth programs, and doubled back into community colleges, looking for pathways that exist along that feeder system to help create the next generation of business owners. We're casting at that time, casting a very, very wide net, not quite as concerned about the impact at that point. The last 5 years in particular, we've been taking a harder look at what we're doing. Saying, where does it matter? Where are the touch points places that we need to be that we weren't quite as concerned with 10, 15 years ago? Like the Pathway Program, and who are the partners that we want to invite. We're working hard to work on collaborations. We all get so busy in what we do. And sometimes we're guilty of what Jack talked about, of thinking we're the only one in the room that can do it. And we let our egos get in the way, and we create silos around what we do. So we're working really hard these days on collaboration, trying to get all the right stakeholders in on solving some of the problems that are going to help you do what it is that we need you to do. We had 105 non-business educators here yesterday for a fellows conference because we figured that the best way to get entrepreneurship across campus is by osmosis, moving it out into engineering and art and nursing and law, having these people work together as cohorts on campus and be able to change the entire culture that exists on those campuses. Amy Rogers ran the SEA conference, the self-employment conference yesterday, and there'll be more art conference sessions today. Over the last 12 years, artists have come to realize that they're independent contractors, and they're becoming more and more comfortable with it. They're learning the language. They need to know that they understand the business side of their craft, of their art. Experiential activity is popping up all over the place. When we first started doing entrepreneurship grants, it was book learning, and maybe a few people coming to class, and countless numbers of professors talking about the attributes of entrepreneurs. And what we've come to realize collectively is that the more you practice, the more you have a chance to fail and succeed while you're doing that, the better and better you get at it. And using those campus settings as true incubators for entrepreneurial activity. We're pretty concerned about Main Street businesses these days. You know, Jack advised us don't be afraid to be basic. I think the tech world is a really wonderful thing, but it's going to take care of itself because the VC people are really, really interested in that. But what about the woman who wants to start a series of a cosmetology business, or a small accounting firm, or a small marketing firm, or I want to rehab houses, or I want to be involved in real estate? Where's my support structure for that? We need to work on that to make sure that network is there to help those people succeed and move on and grow those businesses. Everything's going to have to be tech-enabled. There's no question about that. How many of you are familiar with the Ed Lowe Foundation? Anybody know about that? Ed Lowe basically invented kitty litter, dirt in a bag. Very, very basic. And he had a vision that entrepreneurs like you needed a place to go to have a retreat, and they needed information. And he set up this tremendously powerful database and computer system where entrepreneurs could go and study current trends and get information. That was long before the internet existed. Many of you are carrying around more horsepower in your laptop today than Ed had at that campus center. The world is just a remarkably different place. How do you tame that fire hose that's coming at you with all that information? and to be able to get the best out of it and find those connections that you need. Those are part of our challenges these days. John used to talk about wanting to fill Soldier Field with the likes of a CEO conference. And I think the technology today, John, is making that happen by the hour all over the world. And not just once a year as a celebration, but every day a validation for what we do, and every day a new people to be connected to and to continue to advance something that's very, very important. So you're going to hear more and more about John Hughes as time goes on here for the next couple of days. John is a unique individual. And we want to congratulate you, John, for seeing an opportunity when other people were saying, what is it you want me to do, John? You want me to work 80 hours a week, no pension, no profit sharing? Why am I doing that? Motorola is going to offer me a really great job. Why am I doing that, John? And John took the foundation down that path, helped the board see it, helped us connect to professors on a regular basis. John every day acts on his own convictions. Has a very, very focused definition. It's business creation. It's about risk. It's about control. And yes, hopefully some reward. That's still very, very important to the foundation. That's what all of our entrepreneurship activity springs from. It's starting a business. That's what we're after. We think that's important. John's been tenacious. He's been in it for the long haul. He's told us that's how we get things done. We stay and stay and stay and stay. And that's why we're still here today. He's consistently provided time, talent, treasure to people like you, to professors, to most of us in this room. He's provided us with many, many opportunities. He set the stage for entrepreneurship in the arts. He set the stage for incubation. He set the stage for varieties of campus-based programs that are there today. He's allowed the field and caused the field to move forward and help create the next generation of entrepreneurs. So John, congratulations. Okay, so Jerry and Katie and Michael have laid out a great conference for us. The one thing that you need to know, the first-timers that are here, is that everybody at this place is tremendously approachable. All the purple shirts are sitting together with the red shirts sitting at another table and the green shirt sitting somewhere. If it were really perfect, by the end of the day, red and blue and purple and green and white and yellow are all sitting and mixed up. Make sure that you don't leave here today without asking every question that you need to ask. Take advantage of the mentoring room, and the opportunities are there. Really use this time well, because it's going to go very fast. The next thing you know, we're going to be in here tomorrow for the closing session. You don't want to get back on the bus tomorrow and say, damn, I didn't get that done. Make that your call to action. Have a great conference.
Thank you again, and let's hear it again for the Coleman Foundation and Mike. I'd like to ask this person we've been talking about to the stage. John Hughes, would you please come forward? While John is coming up, I want to emphasize that he's going to be in the mentor room immediately after this session. And I know that John, because he thoroughly enjoys meeting with you, he's going to be in the mentor room a lot today and tomorrow, I'm sure. And so it's a great opportunity for all of you to go by and say hello to John and thank him and maybe raise a question or two. John is going to be speaking tomorrow morning. That's his favorite speaking time, and when John speaks, we listen. But I do want to add a little bit to what Mike Hennessy was saying a moment ago about John. Like John, if you could, well, tell you what, I'll hold it for a moment here. John is 85. He celebrated his 85th birthday earlier this year. That kind of goes nicely with our 15th anniversary as CEO. He's, as many of you know, he's just poured his heart and his soul into entrepreneurship education. Think for just a moment, ask yourself, have I ever been influenced at all by John Hughes? Have I heard him speak? Have I been in meetings with John? Have I read what he's written? Just those of you who know John, maybe most importantly, is just great longtime friends. Would you just please stand for a moment? I know we have a small sample here. Yeah. If some of these people could stand, please. Yeah. We applaud you for your judgment in getting to know John and listening to his important insights. As we thought about John and tried to sum it up, we ended up with 3 words: significant, inspired, and sustained impact. Significant, inspired, and sustained impact. He grew up in Beloit, Wisconsin. He founded an accounting firm after he earned his CPA. He cashed out. He was independently wealthy, and a lot like Jack DeBoer, he could have hung it up, gone to the beaches, and said, job well done. But instead, he became CEO of Fannie Mae Candies, which was at its peak at that time. He doubled the number of shops. He doubled sales. He doubled profitability. On all of these different fronts, he has a remarkable record, truly as an entrepreneur. He was a qualified parachutist in World War II. Those of you who have heard reference by the presidential candidates in the last month, they've often referred to the greatest generation, Tom Brokaw's book. And John is one of those, the greatest generation. He loves baseball. He's been a minor league baseball player. I had the honor of going out on Wrigley Field after John pitched against the 1969, I think it was, right, John? Cubs. In fact, I've had a lot of great times over the years. I was the first Coleman shareholder. The company jet was great fun. I rode along many different trips that John would make to different campuses. I remember going to Ohio State. We went to several universities in Virginia, and jumping on that toy, the Fannie Mae Candies jet, and just literally jetting around the United States preaching entrepreneurship was just wonderful fun. He has many, many awards, doctoral degree from his PhD from DePaul, USASP Advocate Award. I was honored to receive the USASP Advocate Award, and I'm truly honored that I was given this award with John Hughes' name on it. And finally, many different Hall of Fames. He's recognized as a CEO Hall of Famer, Lifetime Achievements, Chicago Area Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame. Probably his greatest achievement is his marriage, 64 years. Gene Hughes, daughter, son-in-law, 2 grandsons, others. Let's hear it for John Hughes, and he'll be back tomorrow morning.